Hello everyone and welcome back. We are in the second to last weekend in October. We are getting another hard frost tomorrow. So I'm going to start lifting and dividing and storing my dahlia tubers. This is going to be my second year doing so, but last year I did not have nearly as many plants. So this should be a fun chore to do on a very busy weekend. And hi, if you're new here, my name is Kristy. I am located in Massachusetts, Zone 6A, and we have already had a frost that did take out my zinnias and a lot of my other plants, especially my vegetable garden. So the past few weekends, we've been extremely busy, which is why I haven't been making too much content, but we are going to be gearing up with saving seeds, dividing dahlias. And this time for my dahlias, I'm going to try a different storing method. So last year I saved them in some totes with pine shavings, and I would say over 50% of them did survive. Some of them I feel like didn't because I let them just dry a little bit too long. Today we're going to start, I'm going to chop them down, label them, and then try and wash and divide as many as I can today, since we do have a party. So today is Saturday, and then tomorrow I basically have the full day to do the same thing. As again, is chilly out. We're in the 40s right now, but it is time to do so because we have a lot of rain coming for the end of Halloween week. So let's see what we can get to today. Here is a patch of some first year seedlings. So I will definitely be saving tubers for these. I might not divide them into individual tubers, but just leave them as a clump. So we will see how that works out over there. Over to our left, these are a small patch I got late in the year. These are all my Café Laits, which I definitely want to save and divide. And then I plan on trading as well with another local lady who likes to grow flowers and sell them at her roadside flower stand a few towns over. And then we have our zinnias cleared here, which I was happy about. And I also cleared my zinnias there. We have so many pine trees, so they are covered in pine needles. And then this is another area I'm going to be saving all of the tubers from. I had some great success with some first year seedlings here, so I want to save those as well, which we'll probably keep as clumps. And then over to our left, this was another first year seedling, except they were all mostly single petals. I'm not going to be keeping any of these except for maybe one or two, which I already labeled to keep. There were some really nice small yellow ones, which acted more as like nice little accent flowers. And then I had some dahlias over here, but these ones, I probably will only be saving the one with that one yellow flower. And if you keep walking over here, these are the dahlias I was able to save with my frost cloth. I will be pulling all of these up and saving all of these tubers. Besides a handful of Café Laits, these were actually all tubers that I purchased from Costco. Not all of them made it into the ground because some of them were broken or just looks a little bit, I don't know what the word is, questionable maybe. So I didn't plant them, but I planted all of the other ones and they did fantastic. So these I will also be saving and also trying to divide as well. So we're going to work with our first year seedlings, then we'll go over to the Café Laits, and then we'll work over to our next first year seedlings. Mason's going to help me. He likes to carry the stalks, so I'm going to have him make a pile for me, and we're going to see how much we can get done before lunchtime. You ready to go? Yeah? So this is my first year seedling patch. I did space them rather close together, so I have to be very careful when pulling them apart. I did try to label some of them at least with the color, and I did take some pictures. Some of them actually might have a number attached. So I did like A001, like pink to white. I mean, this is no professional job here, but just so I can kind of just mark them for later. I'm going to be storing them in shoebox plastic bins, so I'm going to start digging them out very gently. So I'm going to be using a pitchfork to try and lift everything up. And then I do have some bottom trays that I will just be having everything dry out. They'll go into my garage off the ground, and I'm gonna let them just try and dry out there after washing them. And then I'm hoping after lunch I can start dividing them, and we'll see how this goes. Because again, second year, and last year I only stored them as clumps. These ones I probably will leave as clumps. If I get to the Café Laits, I definitely want to divide those. So let's hope they're looking good, these tubers. All right, again, apologize for all the moving and the lighting, but it is literally 9 in the morning. I have my kids out here eating partially their second breakfast. And so I just went a few inches out and I tried loosening it up. They probably won't be, I'm assuming, too big. I'm gonna get this again and just try and lift. There we go. And this one is actually tagged, which is good on my part. And let's see, so this one is pink with a yellowed center, and it says that it's about 2 to 3 inches wide. And I think it's actually coming up with another one. They're like stuck together. All right, so look, we have, oh, they're kind of tangled up. So this one has some nice smaller tubers. When I see them small like this, I am definitely going to just keep them as a clump. Just because they are so small, I will be rinsing them off and again putting them in a shoebox with peat moss. I'm just gonna mix them all together. I will probably try and keep the tag on top of some of them and only put maybe 4 in a box if they're tagged like this. Otherwise, they're just going to be mixed in until they mature a little bit more into like 2 or 3-year-old seedlings. And if they make the cut, maybe I might discard some of them. But right now I'm just trying to keep as many as possible. I do plan on making some dahlia beds in an area that gets way more sunlight than where they were this year. So hopefully they won't be stretching out. They'll be actually growing straight up like they should be. So yeah, so we have this. I'm just gonna put them in a crate right now and then I'll wash them afterwards. All right, so we have a few more, and you know what? These are all actually from the same lady I got her seeds from. I trialed some for her, and then I also saved some. I didn't label them with the tags, but that's okay because I don't know how many we're gonna have. So like this little one right here, it has a few smaller clumps. And unfortunately, these size clumps were the ones that didn't really survive well for me last year in the pine shavings. Again, I don't know if it was because I let them dry out too long, but they did shrivel up. Some, even though they looked super sad, they were fine planting them out. I planted them in planters on my deck very late in the year. I just wanted to see if they would sprout so I could save them. But I'm hoping that the peat moss will work a little bit better. So we have some really small ones. And then let's see what we have right here. Yeah, these are teeny. This one I clearly forgot to chop down, so we have to make sure we do that. And then I'm assuming that once I wash these will dry rather quick just due to how small they are. But we are getting lots of rain in the forecast later in the week. So I'm just really hoping I can get up as much as I can this weekend, even though we do have a lot going on. So let me see if I can loosen up here. So this one is also tagged, so I'm curious. This one was a tangerine ball, and my descriptions are far and few. Ooh, okay. Wow, this one produced some nice, this one produced much bigger ones compared to the others. So I'm very excited about that. It's crazy that this came from literally a tiny seed, and it's my first year growing dahlias. So let's keep going. It's around 10 o'clock or so. We took a nice little snack break. These I definitely want to wash and try and divide if I can. If not, I'll just save them as clumps and maybe put a clump or two per box when I'm saving them. But I really want these to hopefully have a good amount of tubers. I do plan on trading these ones. I have 6 plants here and about 3 or 4 more in another dahlia row. These ones I actually purchased down the road at a farm and nursery. She considers them as annuals, so I got them on sale for, I believe it was like $5 per pot. They were already 2 to 3 feet tall at this point with some blooms. They lushed up and greened up so nicely once I had them in the ground. So I have 6, I believe, over here, and then I have another 3 to 4 in my other dahlia row. So I'm going to cut these down, make sure they're on their own tray so I don't get anything confused. I'll leave the tags with them because I do plan on swapping these in the spring. All right, so we're doing our first Café au lait, which I'm very excited about. And hopefully I didn't puncture it too much. But let's see how these tubers are looking. These will definitely need to be washed from whatever growing medium they were in because they were extremely root bound. So I really hope that there are some tubers that will, oh yeah, there we go. So we got some in there, but I definitely am going to need to wash this really well. Again, with the growing medium that they were in, there we go, it's loosening up nicely. All right, so I'm just gonna leave it to this and then we'll see how the rest are. So we are on to the washing phase. These are just my Café au laits. Again, I purchased these, they were in a pot. So they definitely were a little bit root bound. And when I pulled them up as a clump, they actually came still in their circle. So I'm going to wash these. They're not as big as I would like them to be, to be comfortable enough to divide them right now. So I'm probably just going to store them as clumps like this and then divide them into the spring because I am still very new to this. Again, second year growing them, this time more at a bigger scale than last year. So I'm going to wash these off, and then this is in the shade right now on my potting bench. I'm gonna let them just dry here and then we'll keep checking in on them. I'll also probably move them into the garage later as well, and then hopefully I can store them by tonight or tomorrow morning. It's around like 10:30, 10:45 right now, so we'll see how long it takes. The ones that I did dig up earlier this week, I let them stay in the garage for about 24 hours and they were dry to the touch. I actually just chucked them in to some pine shavings. Since I didn't have my shoe boxes in on time, I actually just ordered them from Walmart. I think it was like you get 10 of them for $10 or $11 or so. They were on the cheaper end. And then I bought all my peat moss from Walmart when they were super cheap on sale for clearance. So I have about 2.5 bags of those, and I'm hoping it'll be enough to store all of my dahlias. So let's wash these and then I'll do the first year seedlings right afterwards. All right, so we have all of our dahlia tubers that are the Café au lait. They are drying. I'm going to cut the stalks down with some snips, and they're not completely clean. I'm just gonna let them dry for a little bit because we do have to go in for lunch soon. And then I'm probably, like I have like some here, I'm gonna clean up all of these roots, which I don't plan on saving. And then these, since they are smaller clumps and I am very new to saving these and dividing these, I am just going to leave them as small clumps from now, and then we'll see if I'm adventurous over in the spring. But I am going to be happy with this. They're very small. They're not gonna take up that much space. I'll probably put like 3 or 4 clumps per shoebox bin that I got, and then hopefully next year we'll be able to divide them a little bit more if the tubers are bigger. I mean, I've been watching so many videos. They say that, you know, tubers come in all different shape sizes. Some are easier, but this is just a little bit too complicated for my liking. So we'll see how this all goes, but we're gonna work and now wash all of my first year seedlings, and then I'll check back with you later.